Hi, hey everyone, I'm your host Hak. Welcome to today's discussions on the issues that impact us all, the climate change. So we are about to uncover some fascinating insights and the solutions. So first, let's head to our field with our amazing reporter, which is Alia, who's live on the site to give the latest updates. And take it away, Alia.
Thanks, Hak. I'm here on the ground exploring how agricultural practices contribute to climate change in this area. Let's hear directly from the locals working, which is Iman and Shirin, as a breeder and a farmer.
Well, it is simple. Livestock like cows release methane as they digest food. Even the paddies release methane due to the way they are ground, especially in waterlogged conditions.
On top of that, farming machinery making fertilizers and other agricultural is a lot of carbon dioxide. These practices are big contributors to greenhouse gas.
Okay, thank you Iman and Shirin for sharing your perspective. As we can see, agriculture here is a source of two major greenhouse gases, methane and carbon dioxide. These activities also disrupt the carbon cycle, affecting how plants and soil store and release carbon. This is a serious challenge that needs addressing. Okay, next question. Please explain to us on how the atmosphere and the ocean play a role in this process. Let's start with Iman. What's happening in the atmosphere, Iman?
Well, Alia, carbon dioxide plays a huge role in controlling Earth temperature. It is one of the most important greenhouse gas, along with methane and halocarbons. It absorbs that energy radiated by the Earth, then re-emits it, treating the greenhouse effect. This process is why carbon dioxide has such a powerful impact on global warming.
So the atmosphere is trapping more heat because of these gases. Shirin, how does the ocean come into play?
The ocean's law is huge, Alia. About 30% of the carbon dioxide that humans release gets absorbed by the ocean through chemical exchange. But here's the problem. When CO2 dissolves in seawater, it forms carbonic acid, making the water more acidic. Over time, this has caused a 30% increase in ocean acidity since the industrial era. It's affecting marine ecosystem and affecting the chemistry of the oceans.
Wow, that's a double blow, warming from the atmosphere and acidification of the oceans. Thanks Iman and Shirin for shedding light on these critical processes. Back to you in the studio, Hak.
Thank you, Alia, for shedding light to our important issue. So stick around, everyone, because up next, we are going to dive into the insight with the Professor Zan and the landscape architect, which is Mr. Stan. So let's get started. To kick things off, Professor Zan, could you explain about the carbon cycle and why it is crucial to the climate crisis?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Ha. So, for the explanation, the carbon cycle moves the carbon between the atmosphere, the land, the ocean, and the living organism. However, human action like burning fossil fuel and deforestation can disrupt this cycle, causing the excess carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Furthermore, carbon dioxide is crucial for maintaining the Earth's natural greenhouse effect. So basically, it's keeping our planet warm enough for life. But like we know, the human activities like the burning fossil fuel and deforestation can cause the CO2 level rise up. In 2023, last year, atmospheric CO2 hit a record high enough, 490.3 per million. This is a huge number, marking the 12 consecutive years for rapid increasing, according to the NOAA. Besides that, the carbon sink, like forest, the ocean, and the soil can vital for absorbing nearly half of human CO2 emission. However, deforestation and the land degradation can risk turning these sink and carbon sources can make the worsening the climate change. Artificial solution that we can do is like the carbon capture and the storage, promise but cannot replace natural system lah. Carbon cycle is out of balance, disturbing the climate stability. To restore it, we must protect the carbon sink, reduce the emission, embrace the sustainable technologies such as the green technologies. By acting now, can mitigate climate change and preserve life supporting system for the future.
Thank you, Prof. Zan, for giving some interesting information about these issues. Okay, now let's discuss the effects of the imbalance. And as a landscape architect, discuss a little bit, does it related to your field?
Okay, thank you, Hak. So when excess the CO2 traps heat, it leads to global warming, so affecting the weather patterns and ecosystem. So as a landscape architecture, we design the spaces that mitigate this effect by increasing the vegetations and promoting the sustainable practices.
Alright, Tan, what are some solutions that landscape architects offers to combat the climate change?
Okay, when designing for the future, we must prioritize the climate positive approaches to reduce the carbon emissions. So material choice play a huge role. Tools like the climate positive design Pathfinder help us assess the carbon footprint of our materials by reducing the hardscape using local resources like decomposed drainage and reusing the material like asphalt. We minimize the emissions. Even small changes like narrow path or replacing the concrete with wood for seating make a big impact. Another key strategy is balancing the carbon emissions with storage. Climate positive design store more carbon than they emit, which we achieve by creating the biodiverse landscape with a mix of tree, shrub, and ground covers. So preserving large mature tree is especially vital as they store the most carbon over their lifetime. Furthermore, precise measurements is critical. Tools like carbon conscience, i3, and Tally enable us to calculate the emissions and refine our decision throughout the design process. By applying this strategy, we can create the functional, beautiful spaces that also combat the climate change and contribute to a sustainable future. Lastly, we create the green spaces like urban forests to sequester to and design the sustainable drainage system and handle the heavy rains. This project reduce the heat islands effect and make the city more resilient.
Could you give some examples, the successful project related to this?
Okay, alright. Certainly, the Cheongjicheon's stream restoration in Seoul transformed an urban area into a green corridor, improving the air quality and lower temperatures. So it's a great example of sustainable urban design.
Alright, a big thank you to our speakers for shedding lights on this critical issue. We saw how agriculture drives emissions, why protecting carbon sinks is essential, and how sustainable design can combat climate change. And remember, every effort counts. Let's support green initiative and work together toward a livable future.